everyone. My name is Alex Galbreath. I'm here at the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Orange County Hub with Michael Fox, celebrating National Mentoring Month. I'm a recent graduate of Chapman University and I currently work in the digital marketing space. I was once a big brother, but I am now a little brother through the Big Careers program. And like I mentioned, today we're here inaugurating their brand new media room.
It's very cool.
Oh yeah, very, very nice. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my big brother, Mike Fox.
All right, Alex, thanks, man. And this is fun. This is kind of turnaround is fair play, right? Most of the time when you and I chat, it's me asking all the questions and you telling me what's going on.
Yeah.
So now we get to turn the tables a little bit.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
a little bit. Well, you get a couple questions in there. You've served on the board of directors for Big Brothers Big Sisters for over 15 years now. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what really speaks to you about this organization.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you think about, as you grow in your career and you think about what you want to do with your life and you think about philanthropy and how you want to help your community, right? And you and I have talked about this a lot. You want to pick things that you think where you can make a difference, where the organization can make a difference. And one of the things that's always impressed me about Big Brothers and Big Sisters, especially here in Orange County and the Inland Empire, is how effective the group is, right? I mean, you think about the statistics around littles that graduate from high school when they're picked up as little kids and work their way through high school. Something like 99.9% of those folks with Big Brothers or Big Sisters actually graduate from high school. So it's an organization that is very effective, and then they all go on to either a secondary school or a military career. So it's been very rewarding to work with an organization that has that kind of impact on the community. I got involved. Actually, I've been on the board for, has it been 16 years? Is that right? Gosh, okay. I got involved way before that, though, as just volunteering on a committee. There was something called the Mardi Gras dinner. The Mardi Gras dinner, way back when over at downtown Disney. We don't do that anymore, but it was a way for me to get in and get involved and get on a committee and do things. And eventually, they asked me to be on. They were foolish enough to ask me to be on the board of directors, and now I'm the vice chair, which is actually very scary, but it'll be fun. I've told Sloan, the CEO, that I said, "You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to be chair if you're leaving." So she's promised me.
So, Mike, you obviously published your book, Lifelong Mentorship, touching all the bases. Your book highlights lessons from growing up in professional baseball and in that world and community. Can you share an example of mentorship from that time specifically?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that mentorship really does work, right? With whether it's with smaller people, smaller kids, and all the way up through adults, right, and into our careers. And I think all of us who have had successful careers can think back to any number of people who helped us as mentors, as advisors, and so it really does work. What I found out probably 15 years into my career was that growing up, I was fortunate enough to grow up with a father who was in professional baseball as a coach and a manager and executive and all the rest. And I got a chance to be around professional athletes every day when I was growing up and watch them interact with their coaches and watch them work to enhance their skills and enhance their abilities. And I realized that I was kind of wired as a kid to watch coaching, to be coached as a kid, and then to also offer help and help others because it was just what happened in front of me every day. Mm-hmm. So the ability to help someone and want to help someone and help them is shown every day in those settings. You think about the best athletes in the world. I mean, you think about, we're sitting here in January and the football playoffs are going on. Patrick Mahomes talks to his coaches every day. What makes any of us think that we can't do that as well and try to be better? And yet, those of us in business, sometimes we don't do that. We think we got to do it on our own and muscle it out. Well, there's too many people who have too much experience that can help you and want to help. Mm-hmm. And so why not reach out and find that? And by the same token, those of us who have that kind of experience should reach down and say, hey, how can I help you? In the book, I talk about a number of examples about how some very famous ball players helped me. Dad was with the San Francisco Giants organization, actually New York Giants before they moved to San Francisco way back in the 50s. and then in San Francisco. And I had some very famous ball players help me as I was a kid, and really just helped me with learning how to play baseball, if nothing else. Because one of the things that you have the privilege of doing when you're a coach's son or a manager's son is help out during practices. So for those of you who understand baseball, every team takes batting practice before every game, right? And they need people in the outfield to pick up all those balls or shag the balls. And so I used to do that all the time. And then all of a sudden, a player by the name of Willie Mays saw me in the outfield. Now, those of you who know baseball history know that Willie Mays was one of the greatest players who ever played the game. And he worked out every morning just like everybody else did. And he saw me out there and helped me learn how to catch fly balls and learn how to throw. And then as I grew older and got into high school, he actually trusted me and quite frankly a couple other of the older guys, coaches' sons, to help him prepare. He used to get, as you guys know, all professional athletes get all kinds of equipment, right? Well, in baseball they get gloves every year. They get new baseball gloves every year, and they have to be broken in during spring training. And he used to give me and one other young man a glove at the beginning of spring training, brand new, right out of the bag. He said, "Here, do me a favor, help me break this in." And he taught us how to do that. He would sit down. I'm 15, 16 years old at the time. He gives me a brand new glove that he's going to use during the season. This is the greatest player in the world is going to give a high school kid a piece of equipment that he's going to use during the season. He showed me how he wanted it done. The oil the leather, showed me where he wanted my hand to be, showed me how he wanted to store it every night. And then every Saturday morning during spring training for those 4 weeks, I'd bring the glove back to him, and he would use it during practice or say, "No, it's not ready yet." And at the end of spring training, it was ready. He'd take it. He would always then give me another one to use during my high school season, so that was kind of cool. Still have one of those. But for that level of athlete to trust a high school kid, to delegate with the right instructions, to delegate with the right incentives, because the incentives was his respect and his trust, and the ability for him to then, someday say, "Hey, thanks for doing that," was more than I needed, right? So the right incentives and the right instruction, you can delegate and teach it to anybody, just about anything. So why not be able to do that? Why not reach out to the folks in your life who can help you and have them mentor you in some way or shape or form? Because it works. It really does. But that led me to realize that coaching and mentoring is something that come natural to me.
Yeah, I can attest to that, obviously, since you mentor me.
Too many good breakfasts, huh?
Yeah, all the time. So obviously it is National Mentoring Month. So what is one lesson that you would like to share with viewers as it relates?
As I said, I think, and as a young person, figure out your goals, right? Say, okay, where do I want to be short term? Where do I want to be long term? And then who can help me? Who out there do I respect? Do I like? Do I want to spend some time with? Right? You don't want to do it with somebody who, there's not a fit, right? You want to find that natural fit. And I think when you do that, you can say, these are my short-term goals, these are my long-term goals, at least the way I see them now. I mean, when you and I talked, right? When we talked when you were first getting out of Chapman, we talked about, your first goal was to get that first job, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you had a great internship, and we talked about how to get that first job. That's a very good short-term goal. But in your mind, I know you always had your long-term goals of, okay, where's this going to take me? What am I going to learn? And how does that make me better in whatever the next phase of my career might be?
Yeah. I think for me, at that time, it was kind of coming into a very transitionary period between graduating college and figuring out a career. And so short-term goal was like, get a job. And I think at the same time, there's always that stress of the long-term goals of like, okay, is this first job going to determine what my career is? And so that's something that I struggled to grapple with. And you played an enormous role in me securing not only my job, but understanding that it's okay if you don't know exactly where you're going to be in 20 years, but it's more so just being, consistent, on the right path, checking in, having someone that can provide you that guidance and someone who has that wealth of knowledge and experience.
Yeah, I think
their belt, so.
you're right, Alex. I think too many people coming out of college think, "Oh God, I got to get my dream job." Well, you don't know what your dream job, quite frankly, is just yet. I didn't know what my dream job was when I first got out of college. I just needed you needed rent money.
Absolutely.
And so you want to be able to get that job that you enjoy. You don't want to do something you don't like, right? But it may not be it's not going to be your final job, especially not in today's environment.
Yeah.
You're going to have 4 or 5 different positions, 4 or 5 different roles sometime along the way till you finally figure out, I really like this one, and this is where I really want to spend my time, and then go for it.
Yeah.
It's important to be intellectually curious all the time, to really say to yourself, hey, I need to learn more about the client. I need to learn more about that new platform, right? I need to learn more about, the challenges that the client may be having in the marketplace. And those challenges tend to be barriers, right? Because you got to have the time to do it,
Yeah.
right? And you got to have the will to do it, the intelligence to do it, and the time to do it. When you put all those together and can really get that extra edge, I was at a session, this was years ago, with an Olympic gymnast, and he said to me one time, he said to this group, he said, in Olympic gymnastics, you win the gold medal by 1/1000th of a point. And for that, you get the gold medal, and everybody remembers who you are. And whoever came in second was 1/1000th of a point less, and you can't remember their name. And it always stuck with me. I said, you have to in any competitive field, business, sports, whatever, you have to be better, and you have to be just that much better. And that one little piece that can give you that edge. So to talk about barriers from success, that one little piece of that one little extra piece of knowledge that all of a sudden resonates with your audience, whether it be a client, coworker, whoever, can make the huge difference.
Yeah. And actually, even relating that, back to where I'm at right now, is I sat down with one of my bosses yesterday, and he had me write down 10 of my goals for this upcoming year. And so I wrote them down, and then he questioned, he's like, okay, which one do you think would have the biggest impact on your life?
I love this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So he has, which one has the biggest impact on your life? It should stand out to you pretty quick. Circled that goal, wrote it on a different piece of paper, and he said, I need you to now make a checklist of every little thing that you can do every single day that'll put you one step closer towards that goal.
There.
And so it was a good exercise for me to do. I'd never really done any, goal setting the way he approached it. And it was funny because he had asked me right after, okay, what was your goal? And I said, hey, my goal is to move into a management role within my position here.
Right.
And he was super, super supportive of it. He's like, I'm already trying to get you to do that. That's why we're doing this right now.
Cool.
And so, but yeah, I think, you just gotta be eager, and you gotta be hungry.
Eager, hungry, and focused. You
Yeah.
gotta keep that focus. It's so critical. If you lose that focus, you waste time that you don't need to waste.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's the one thing you can't waste is time, because
Mm-hmm.
you never get it back.
How does mentoring in the workforce open up opportunities for underrepresented groups?
Oh, okay.
And how does diversity benefit successful organizations?
It's interesting. I'll go back to something I put in the book, which was around how Major League Baseball diversified in the 50s, late 40s and early 50s. Being here in Southern California, obviously the story of Jackie Robinson and the Dodgers back in Brooklyn. And then I watched as a kid, the Giants organization fully embrace a diverse talent pool, whether it be players from Latin America, obviously any minority players, but at the time before the color barrier was broken, the black players, and then players from Latin America. And what I think everybody realizes is that if you're competing for talent, regardless of what industry you're in, sports, business, computers, whatever it might be, why limit your talent pool? Why not look for the best talent available? And I think organizations that provide opportunities for people to grow, because a lot of times what ends up happening is that unconscious bias takes hold, and you think, okay, that person, really probably can't do this, so I'll give the opportunity to somebody else. But if you say to yourself, okay, let's give everybody some equal opportunity as they're learning, and then see who rises to the top, now you've got a talent pool that you can work with. And in professional sports, I'll use baseball as an example. The minor leagues are that trial laboratory, if you will, right, where players get a chance to play. If they make it, they make it. If they don't, they're out.
Yeah.
And in business, pretty much the same way. You get opportunities to succeed. You get opportunities to learn. And if you do, and you succeed, and you demonstrate to the client, to your managers that you can handle the work, they'll give you more. Right? We laugh in consulting. The great news is you're really good at what you do. The bad news is you're really good at what you do, and now we're going to bury you. It's a good thing. It's just that you got to realize that, okay, here it comes. This is going to be a long week, and the folks who can embrace that and still balance out a personal life, obviously, can succeed. So yeah.
Here we go. Summarize clips for us.
Clips. Please. Okay. In Major League Baseball, there are 5 tools that everybody works for: hitting for power, fielding, throwing, and running. Those are the 5 tools. And when you do them well, do them exceptionally well, you end up in the Hall of Fame, right? If you do them okay, you have a decent career. If you can't do them, you don't play, right? In business and in professional services, the 5 tools that I've identified are communications, leadership, intellectual curiosity, presence, and subject matter expertise, or clips, as you refer to it. And they're all necessary. You have to be able to communicate complex issues with people. You have to be able to lead both internal teams and external teams. And leadership isn't a title. It's a frame of mind and a way of operating. You don't have to have the title of manager. You can lead teams without being a manager, and lead projects and all the rest. We talked a little bit about intellectual curiosity. You always want to be intellectually curious. You always want to think, okay, what don't I know about the client? What don't I know about the subject matter? What's new in the world? And if you're in a field that is subject to regulation, what's the newest regulation? Or if you're in a field that's subject to moving markets, how is the market treating things? You always want to be able to be intellectually curious about those subject matters and really, really continue to grow your own knowledge base. And then presence is extraordinarily important, especially as you get into situations where you do need to help lead people. You got to be able to walk into a room and be comfortable in your own skin and say, hey, I can be here, I can contribute at whatever level I need to contribute at, and do so with the knowledge and a little bit of style and grace, And then subject matter expertise. I think we all recognize that at some point in our lives we have to be deep knowledge about something, right? In your case, it's digital marketing. You got to know what's going on all the time. In my case, when I was consulting, it was about human resources issues, right? In my case, it was the world of employee benefits. That was my deep knowledge, both health and welfare and retirement benefits. Other people had deep knowledge in communications. Other people had deep knowledge in compensation. So there's different ways to do that. But you want to be able to go deep somewhere where people know, hey, this person has expert knowledge of a topic matter and can go deep there and go broad in some other things and bring in the right resources where they're not knowledgeable. I think it's extremely important, and can obviously, when you start thinking about it that way, you start thinking about it as a framework to as you grow your career. It allows you to have the ability to see things a little more clearly. I got to make sure I can communicate this thing. It doesn't do any good if I know it and can't communicate it. So yeah.
Awesome. So anything else you'd like to share?
So one of the things that I want people to understand is that becoming a big is not. It does take some time. It is a commitment. But it's not onerous. And quite frankly, it tends to be you get as much out of it, if not more, as I've said, than a lot of times you get as much. You get what you put. You get as much out of it as you put into it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it really is very, very rewarding. It really is. Yeah, and what's interesting about all of this is even today as we sit here, the organization has littles that are waiting for bigs. Right, we've got a wait list of almost 100 young people who are really looking for a big brother or a big sister. And if anybody out there wants to volunteer, I'm sure there'll be a number on the screen here or something will pop up pretty soon to allow you to volunteer. There is a process, obviously. You want to make sure we have the right people and matched with the right littles, bigs with the right littles. So I encourage all of you to if you're thinking about it, at least explore it, see what it's like, because it is very rewarding.
Yeah, and there's options. If you're someone who is maybe you're busy, you don't have as much time. One of the things I'm looking into signing myself up for is the Sports Buddies program.
Oh, Sports Buddies, yeah, it's very cool.
You go play sports on the weekends with your little, and Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's a good
That's
point.
amazing, yeah.
There are different ways to do it. There's sports buddies. There's the high school bigs,
Yep.
where they go and actually go into grade schools after class and help kids out. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. And for those high school students out there, who for some reason are watching this, high school bigs is a way to help knock off your philanthropy requirements for college. So don't forget about that.
Totally. I think this is the one we've all been waiting for. But how can we purchase your book?
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Just go to Lifelong Mentorship with my name, Michael Fox, and you can see it on Amazon and other platforms as well. And you can get an ebook, paperback, and about the hard copy. I'm stunned. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all the questions I have for you today, but I do need you to do one more thing for me. Before, obviously, you're all famous and blowing up for your book, is if you don't mind signing my own copy.
I'd be happy to. Thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Thank
I'd love
you.
to. Yeah, thanks, man. Well, and you can't sell it on eBay then.
I'll hold on to it for a while and then I'll sell it on eBay.
Haven't done that in a long
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Appreciate
time.
it.
Man. And thanks for doing this today. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the
See you.
time.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. Mentoring really does matter.